Okay, it's day 45 and this is part 3, and now our Mr. Akhmetshin is going to come back into the story. Akhmetshin, this is an AK-47 meeting your shin. You remember back on day 260, something like that, I was in Washington, D.C. talking about it. Metshin, I think it was even before, talking about the PP dossier, even before I had kind of brought Fusion GPS from kind of out behind it. So these are these cases, right? Now, what do we know about Akhmetshin? Well, he was the guy who went to the Trump Tower meeting, I believe. Now, Andrew McCabe is going to be meeting with Glenn Simpson of Fusion GPS and Akhmetshin and Bisselnitskaya. They're going to be planning this sneak attack on Donald Trump Jr. They're going to send him in. They're going to send Bisselnitskaya in and say, buy this dossier, shop this dossier, much like Peter Strzok shops the dossier in Congress in December of 2016 to try to do the anti-Trump thing, right? So they're going to shop this dossier. Donald Trump Jr. says, yeah, maybe, kind of. And then somebody behind him says, that's crazy. We're not going to do that. I think that's Jared Kushner. But somebody turns it down and says, this is crazy. Maybe it's a lawyer or something. And it's not worth anything and throws it out. So there's no collusion and it's over with. So Akhmetshin's your setup guy. So what is he doing in these cases? Well, he's filing as what they call an interested party. And this is basically, I'm going to side with one of the two guys in the party here. So in this case, there's there's a mineral case here in Washington, D.C., and then he sides with this one of the parties of the two parties. Now, are they targeting different people? Are they just picking a professor out of somewhere in one of their schools that supports Hillary to attack some friend of Vlad in Moscow to try to unhook some deal in Moscow? Is that really what they're doing? Who knows? But let's look at this New York case where, let's see, Akhmetshin files again as an intervener and just see if that's what's going on. Let's see Modus Operandi. We can see a pattern developing. Okay, this is Eggy here. This is a plaintiff. It looks like, okay, we're going to see down here it's a Movant, somebody clear voice. Okay, they're going to kick in something on this case, and then there's this Zalmayev. Well, it turns out he is a professor at University of California. And it turns out this guy is actually living in Moscow, trying to do Moscow business development. Let's see if they are attacking them or not. Oh, here's Akhmetshin. He's going to add some information in here. And then he's also going to countersue. Zalmayev is also going to countersue the guy that they're attacking. Let's see how this goes. So we go down here to the docket. And we go to the first complaint here. And we go to this. And this is going to be expensive. I can see that already, $37. And or $3 to view this document. I think I might have. Last month was terrible for reading documents. It's like $1,000. But anyway, here it is. There's Eggy suing Zali here. Eggy suing Zali. Okay, and what's he saying? Well, malicious disinformation campaign. What does that sound like? Doesn't that sound like exactly what's happening to Trump right now? Right? Russian corporate raid. Where have I heard that before? Okay, international litigation prevented him from personal safety, loss of life and liberty, harm, abandoned his claim to a valuable investment. Okay, played a key role in the campaign, elaborate negative public relations campaign, illegitimate efforts, okay, defamatory, false, injurious statements, all this sort of thing, false defamatory, etc., etc., etc. Now, as a journalist, you have to report the news, and I correct whenever I make a mistake. So there is a certain amount of responsibility that comes along with that, and I try to exercise that every day. But this is where you're planting stories, where you're paying, where Fusion GPS has already been now identified as paying journalists to plant stories that are false. That's something very different. That's a sneak attack. That's not journalism. That's not absence of malice. That's going in with a preconceived idea to smear somebody in writing. In publications, no less, well-known publications. So they look like they grab this state of California professor. They say, hey, I got an idea. Let's bust up a deal in Moscow. And here it is. There's the Moscow hotel. They're going to bust up that deal. And then finally what happens after this case is after they go through 6 years of litigation, it basically dies. And this is a very, very long case. You can see here. It starts in 2011, about when Fusion GPS starts, and goes all the way till last month when the guy finally just gives up over and it's sealed, and they seal the case. So, but then there's all this stuff. Now, the key question is: are our two FBI people Lisa Page and Peter Strokes involved in this case or not? Do they ever get involved? Does Peter Strokes ever get involved in this case with Lisa Page? That's the question of the day. I'll put some screenshots in here along the way to show how long I've been talking about Fusion GPS, how long I've been talking about Akhmetshin. That's where the case is coming to. My Fusion GPS case will cite these cases as just more and more examples where Fusion GPS, I believe, aided in the creation of dossiers through illegally obtained material, potentially, with the Awans, right, to create dossiers against people, much like the Michael Flynn case, to try to smear someone with information.